Hey guys, Ashley Cheeks here. Today we're going to talk about whether you need a CPA to help you with your financials in your business plan. There's two specific instances where it makes sense to get an accountant involved in helping you with your financials. The first is if you're preparing for an IPO. Generally speaking, if you're looking to go public with your stock options, you need to have your business plan positioned in a way that's very attractive to not only investors but general shareholders. In those instances, having projections looked over or validated, at least functionally, by a CPA makes sense. The other situation is if you have an investor who's interested in seeing your financial projections run by a CPA. Before that investor runs those numbers by his CPA, you need to have your CPA look at it first, because there's a very specific way to do financials when it comes to doing it in a CPA format. Basically, there's less room for error in those situations. So what you want to do is ask your CPA to just make sure that everything's formatted correctly. They will not tell you whether or not your projections are good or bad or wrong or feasible, and that's not what they're supposed to do. You're really just asking them to make sure that it's in the proper format and that it is correctly calculating before you hand it over to the other CPA. Now, your investor's CPA is likely to have questions, and don't take it personally. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do, is question everything. Now, all that being said, if you're not going for an IPO and you don't have an investor pushing you to have the financials reviewed by an accountant, then don't worry about the CPA. CPAs are really meant for looking backwards and validating what has already happened in the past, and you are building projections for the future. Your projections will be wrong. I promise you. There's no way in the world to forecast perfectly or accurately, but you're just giving yourself kind of a framework and even benchmarks for what your sales targets should be to meet your goals. So don't get too caught up with accurate financials or accurate projections in your business plan, because it doesn't really exist. So you can just go ahead, take a stab at it, maybe have somebody else help you who is more financially savvy if necessary, but they certainly do not need to be a CPA. And frankly, from what I've heard, CPAs don't always appreciate being pulled into business planning activities that are looking forward when their entire career is about looking backwards. Now, all that being said, if you are planning for an IPO, or if you have been asked by your investor to have CPA certified or reviewed financials, don't be intimidated by this, and remember that your business plan is a guess and there's no wrong answers, so don't take any feedback they give you personally.